In December 2025, Israel made a historic move. It formally recognized Somaliland as a sovereign state. For Somaliland, unrecognized since 1991, this was a breakthrough. For Somalia, it was a provocation. President Mohammed called it a declaration of war. Israel's motives: Red Sea access, countering threats, and pressuring Egypt. The Arab League and African Union condemned the move. The US reiterated support for Somali unity. The fragile status quo has shattered, turning a simmering dispute into a regional flashpoint. Israel's recognition of Somaliland has split the region into rival blocs. Somalia is backed by Turkey, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar, determined to counter Israeli influence. Somaliland is supported by the UAE and Israel. A local dispute has become a proxy battleground for Middle Eastern and African powers. The risk of escalation grows as alliances harden. Diplomatic tensions have triggered a rapid military buildup on both sides. Turkey has supplied Somalia with F-16 fighter jets and trains thousands of Somali soldiers at its Mogadishu base, giving Somalia new military capabilities. Somalia is also seeking support from Pakistan, further diversifying its arsenal. Somaliland, lacking an air force, relies on the UAE's investments, especially the modernized port of Berbera, a potential logistical hub for military operations. The UAE's influence extends to Puntland, challenging Mogadishu's authority. Non-state actors add volatility. Al-Shabaab threatens Israeli interests, while Houthi rebels in Yemen warn of attacks on Somaliland. The region is a powder keg, with state and non-state actors ready to exploit any spark. The risk of open conflict has never been higher. Somaliland's quest for independence is rooted in history. Once a British protectorate, it broke away in 1991, after years of repression. Somaliland has built its own government, currency, and security forces, holding democratic elections. Unlike southern Somalia, it has achieved stability with little international aid. Yet, the world refuses to recognize its success. For Somalilanders, recognition remains a distant hope. Ordinary people are caught in the crossfire of high-stakes diplomacy and looming war. In Mogadishu, residents face daily threats from Al-Shabaab, with the city under siege and the army stretched thin. The prospect of war with Somaliland adds to their fears, as resources are diverted from fighting militants. Political turmoil in Mogadishu deepens uncertainty, with fears of renewed clan violence. In Hargeisa, Somaliland's capital, Israeli recognition sparked celebrations, but anxiety lingers over Somalia's new military strength. Young Somalilanders, proud of their separate identity, hope for investment and peace, but fear history repeating itself. In rural borderlands, nomadic communities now find themselves on the front line, their way of life threatened by looming conflict. For millions, the threat of war overshadows daily life. The Bab al-Mandab Strait is one of the world's most strategic choke points. 12% of global trade passes through here. Disruptions ripple worldwide. Houthi attacks have forced ships to reroute, raising costs and delays. A local conflict could quickly draw in global powers, endangering the world's supply chains. The fate of the Red Sea is now tied to peace in the Horn of Africa. The Horn of Africa stands at a crossroads: war or diplomacy. Somalia, emboldened by new military power, may be tempted to reclaim Somaliland by force, a move that could trigger regional war and humanitarian disaster. Such a conflict would empower extremists, displace hundreds of thousands, and erase decades of fragile progress. The alternative is renewed diplomacy, requiring international engagement and perhaps a rethink of the One Somalia policy. Recognizing Somaliland's reality could open the door to a negotiated settlement, confederation, special status, or peaceful separation. The stakes are enormous: millions of lives, regional stability, and global trade. The coming months will decide whether leaders choose war or the hard road to peace. For ordinary people, the hope is that wisdom prevails over conflict.